Before we start the episode, a very quick shout out to my co host, John, aka The Jester. Happy birthday. This episode is dropping on his birthday, December 2nd, and is dedicated to him, even though it was recorded months ago. But it is dropping today on his birthday. Happy birthday, brother.
Well, this is Abs with my co host, as always, John, and this is Alien and the Jester, episode 4.
For now.
For now.
Co-host for now.
Wait, co host for now? What does that mean?
You never know what's going to happen. Like at any relationship. Which is, by the way, the topic of today.
What a segue. What a segue. Well, usually I start out with...
Wrote a segue, by the way? Speaking of segues.
I have. I actually have. It was a modified segue. I worked in college. I had a research group where we basically took apart segways and made sort of robots with them. So it wasn't exactly one of those segways, but the handle was off. So you could put your foot in it and you could kind of ride it, but you'd have to be hunched over. It's a very wild feeling at the beginning because it's like it's all about balance. Yeah, so it's like doing a tightrope. I've never done a tightrope, but I would imagine that's kind of similar. Anything that requires a little bit of a balance, it always feels really weird at first, and once you get used to it, you always think, why did I ever struggle?
That's very interesting that you're able to ride a Segway, because I feel like you haven't ridden a bike before.
I have actually. This contrary to popular belief, I do know how to ride a bike. I just never rode one after. So, same thing in college. We have a mutual friend, Herman, and he was part of like a bikers gang, and by bikers gang I mean like a little bike club. And he loves biking, and he one night was like, "All right, this enough is enough. I'm gonna teach you how to ride a bike." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Let's go to it." And after that night, I rode that bike home. I was able to ride it, and I rode it home, and that was it. But after that, I had no access to any other bikes, and at that point, 2 years had passed, and I came back to the city, and now I'm not comfortable. First of all, the only other access I have to a bike is a city bike, and I'm not comfortable getting back on in the city traffic. So if someone has a bike out here in the field, I would love to try it out.
I feel like this is not what you told me. I clearly remember verbatim you telling me like you do not know how to ride a bike.
Well, sometimes, okay, so when we're talking about biking and everything, it's much easier, and especially with strangers, it's much easier to say, "Look, I don't know how to ride a bike. I don't want to give this whole speech like, oh, I did technically learn it, but I only rode it once, and now I don't want to just jump back on while we're in the city and I don't know where we're going, and I'm gonna die." So my easy cop out is, okay, yeah, I don't know how to ride a bike. But this is what I just told you is the truth. So the conspiracy has been debunked.
Yeah, you know what else is really important in relationships?
Yes.
Honesty.
Oh, I actually don't. Do you? Let me ask you this: is it good to be completely honest, or is it sometimes good to omit some stuff?
Oh.
I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer. I'm just asking you.
Huh. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. I think that's I do think. Okay, go ahead.
I feel like the answer to this, as it is to most complicated things in life, is it depends.
I think to me, it does depend on the partner and the relationship itself. I know personally, I like to. For me, it will always come out. For me, I can control the timing of it. So if someone's having a bad day, or someone's already loaded up with bad news, or they're already mad at me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hold this information until they're a little calm, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'll say it. Because for me, it's tough for me to sleep at night. It's like, oh damn, I didn't tell her, and I feel bad. So it really grows on me. So, and I learned that early in like relationships in general. But I've had conversations with others about it where they're like, yeah, like it's very normal to keep things from partners. And I'm not even saying that's a bad thing or a good thing, because if a relationship survives, who are we to say otherwise, right? If both people are happy, or I don't know, I actually don't know about this one.
Yeah. It makes me think like, let's say you're with your significant other and
Mm.
you guys are having dinner with your in-laws, and
Mm-hmm.
your significant other asks you, "So you like my mom and dad, right?"
Hell yes.
And you say yes, but maybe you don't really mean it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you're by yourself and she asks you the same question, you might say, "No, I actually despise your in-laws." So I would say that's kind of like how it depends.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I do agree with that. I think I was more talking about one on one, which, yeah, I mean, I can only speak personally where, of course, you want to keep that level of honesty. Uh,
Yeah, this gets really rough because
mhm.
sometimes people will use dishonesty as a way to protect the relationship. That'll be their excuse.
Right.
So let's say they get found out by for cheating,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
like so let's say me and a girlfriend, and I
mm-hmm,
get caught cheating, and the girlfriend
mm-hmm.
asks me, "Oh, why did you not tell me this? Like, why am I only finding out now?
Right.
Why did I have
Mm-hmm.
to unlock your phone and go through your texts and see
Right.
that you're chatting up Natasha?"
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of guys, I think, will be like, "Oh, because I really love you," or "I didn't want to ruin this relationship."
Mm, that's a no-no. That's a no-no.
Hell yes.
I think this is
It's
very
tough.
common, though. This is
It's very
very
common.
common.
It's very common. In fact, I've had conversations. I'm not gonna name people, but I've had conversation with people that I thought were gonna be more on my level, where they said, "Yeah, if I stepped out on my significant other, yeah, I wouldn't tell them because it wouldn't do any good to either of us if they knew." Um, to which I feel like if you're already even if they don't know, it's like, saying, if can you murder someone if no one ever finds out? Like, is it okay to kill someone if
Which
hey,
which philosopher said that?
I have no
I
idea.
guess you are
Yeah,
this this.
yeah, I'm just giving an example, right? Like, if you could say, okay, you know what, you have someone in the forest, no one knows who he is, blah blah blah. Can is it okay to kill them?
Uh huh.
No one will ever find out, but you still committed the murder. You still have done a reprehensible thing. And I don't know if people believe in karmic justice or uh, a justice beyond the living realm.
I do actually.
Yeah, yeah. I don't care. Like, as in, it doesn't matter if those exist. You should still not do it because it's not the decent thing. I think we put a lot of stock on, oh, religion keeps people from acting out. When I hear that, I'm like, oh, then humans are trash. If religion is the only thing,
Word, word.
or is the only thing that's keeping us from cheating or murdering or blah blah blah, which it doesn't. But if it did, then that's like, uh, I can't even
Yeah,
think of
have
a
you
good
no faith in
analogy.
humanity? Like,
Yeah,
do we
right.
need eternal damnation to prevent us from criminal activity?
I, I think the fact that we think that says a lot about our beliefs in humanity already. I think
Mm-hmm.
people in nature are just selfish, and in my opinion, if we had an honest poll, that question that I brought up earlier, if you could kill someone without anyone knowing, I actually think people would say yes. I think I can't say most people would say yes, but I think a good number of people will say yeah, and I think that would be quite dangerous.
Yeah, that's interesting. Even like the Death Note kind of situation where
Right.
what if it's like not that no one knows, but those people are, by according to a large majority of population, they're like unwanted, or
Yeah.
like they would prefer them not to be part of society. Like, is it
Hmm.
okay to kill like most wanted kind of death row criminals?
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't think so. But
Right.
yeah, you're right. Um, like humanity, I think we're both like idealists in that way, where we think that humanity should be able to suffice on their own in terms of like moral justice. So it's actually very admirable that you don't believe in karmic justice, but you still would do the right thing, even
Well,
yeah, even though you're not afraid of like being reborn as a caterpillar or something.
it's yeah. I think it's easy for me to say it here anyway. Like I'm sure some people will read into it and say, "Oh, this is he just virtue signaling. He's not actually like he doesn't mean it," which is fair. So, and I don't know what if a situation like that really arose. No one can ever say what they would actually do. Maybe humanity is good overall, where yeah, they would say no, I don't want to kill someone, and but I just don't think that we should be holding the humanity's morals to karmic justice or eternal damnation. I mean, whatever people's beliefs are, be that as it may, that shouldn't really be the reason why you should be good to the fellow man. I think you should be good to the fellow man because it's you think it's right. You don't want to hurt someone. I don't think it should be based on, okay, well, Jesus doesn't want me to hurt people, so I won't hurt people.
Yeah.
That's a little wishy-washy.
So
Back to relationships.
yeah, I think last episode we had a great kind of intro to relationships in general. And I think this episode, we really wanted to kind of hone in on what guys should do better when they're dating or like trying to get into dating.
Mm,
Like,
mm.
like my opinion is that most guys just like suck at dating. Like they are trash at
Hmm.
the dating game. Like, would you agree with this?
Yeah, for at least when they start out, yes. At least when they start out, I think one of the biggest thing is that and this is true for a lot of things, but guys tend to start off with posting pictures and bios that they think will attract women, but they don't think of it. But really, what they're really putting it as is what they think cool or what they think an attractive a male does. But it sometimes that's just a longer way to get to the answer.
Uh huh.
The shorter way is just saying, what do women want to see, and then go with that. So it's almost like they're thinking, well, I think this is what they want to see. Let me put that in. And sometimes when you ask the question that way, you're projecting a lot of those answers. You're almost like putting in stuff that you think would look good. You're putting in stuff that you would want to see in another guy's profile, if in a weird way. By the way, we're talking about I guess straight relationships, men seeking women and women seeking men, right? So
Yeah, we're both
from
straight males, so
yeah, just from our pronouns, but I don't think it necessarily needs to be confined to that. But either way, I think guys will have just if you want to take one advice from me, it's try to think of what oh, not try to think of what girls want in a picture. Look for what girls want in that profile. Look it up. Search it up on Google. I think it will serve you a lot better than what you assume they want to see.
I see. So what do girls want? Do you think guys know what girls want? I
I think starting off, probably not. I know I didn't. And then you uh, kind of start curating it that way, because I put up a profile that I thought, yeah, this looks pretty good, and then wasn't getting a lot of bites. And then I mean, for me, I would just go and ask all of my girlfriends, all my friends who are girls, like, hey, what do you look
Good
for?
save.
Thank you. And I would just say, look, what do you guys look for? Like, could you improve my profile? Like that, I would just go to the source, because I would ask guys, and there's a lot of, I mean, on Reddit, on a lot of forums, there's a lot of discussions, and it's mostly guys giving other guys advices, which isn't inherently wrong, but sometimes they come off. I think now there are some good subreddits that give you great great advice. One of the biggest one that I think a lot of guys can benefit from is put a picture of you smiling, bro. Just do that. Just put that. I know we have friends who didn't do that, and I would take pictures of them and say just smile in one of them, and put that as a profile. And I guarantee you, because when a human smiles, it just looks more attractive and approachable. It just looks like you're happy, and people want to, you know, remember this. When someone's swiping you on a dating profile, they don't know anything about you. They
True.
don't know that you skateboard and do ollie, or do you rip a half pipe. I do not skate. I'm just I'm pulling these terms out of my ass. But they don't know anything about you, man. So that smiling picture is equivalent to if a girl's alone in like a meet and greet, who are they going to approach? If someone's smiling and and looking approachable, as long as the smile isn't like really creepy, they're going to find like, oh, there's some warmth in this, there's some approachability in this. They may look into your profile, they might swipe right. If you have that stoic, that look that a lot of guys think is cool. In college, I just didn't smile in my pictures, and all the guys thought it was the coolest thing ever. They were like, "Damn, you look like you're about to release an album, bro." But I'm not trying to attract guys in the dating world. Uh, the girls would say, "Why aren't you smiling? Let's take another picture. Why aren't you smiling?" And I'm like, "Nah, keep it like that." But it's really only would get compliments from the guys. But either way.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think it's because so that I have noticed myself as well, and I think it's because a lot of the guys who aren't so familiar with dating,
Mm-hmm.
most of their influences is not from other people, perhaps as like a role model, but like media. So
Yeah, yeah.
so guys will kind of look up to, and I think we can say this for ourselves too. For example, like one of my role models is like Batman, and
Oh yes, yeah.
Batman never smiles. He'll smirk at most.
Mm-hmm.
Like he never is like kind of jolly at all. But the thing to realize is when you're dating, you're attracting the people you attract. You are what you attract, basically. So if you're not a happy person, the people you attract are probably not going to be happy people as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reason to smile, unless you don't want someone who smiles.
Yeah, right. I mean, of course, there are gonna be women who like that as well. Don't get me wrong, but most women, I would say, and uh, yeah, but I think all everyone anecdotally that I've asked have said yes. Put a smiling pictures. It doesn't matter because it just looks more approachable. It looks more warm, and you can even look into it yourself. Look into the people that you're swiping right. You're most likely you're gonna find those smiling pictures far more attractive than non-smiling pictures.
Yep.
So it, yeah, it just looks better. Um, yeah, you shouldn't really try to find find a cool guy pose and putting it in there. On the same note, don't do like a group picture and then crop yourself in and put that picture as a profile picture. Try to pick a single image of yourself. I think it looks a lot better.
Oh yeah, I have so many kind of no-nos actually when it
Oh
comes
yes,
to
please.
dating profile pictures. So I think one thing a lot of people tend to do, especially guys, they just don't really put effort into their dating profile. So you'll see a lot of like bathroom selfies
Right.
or like gym selfies. And like that's fine, but or like they'll do like their car. And that could be like a nice car or something, like a Lamborghini or like a Porsche. The thing is, when you post these sorts of photos, you are screening for a certain type of person. So if on your dating profile you have a nice car, you're probably going to attract people who are more shallow. If your profile is like centered around that, or like if you say in your profile like, "Oh, I'm a billionaire," or like I'm a rich business owner.
Mm.
If you put that, you're going to be attracting. You might be attracting more people, but the types of people you attract are going to lean a certain way, and you might not want that. For me personally, I don't want that. And I think dating profiles, if you're like a normal person, you want someone who's like smart and caring, your dating profile should probably be centered on probably your looks and personality, I would say. And I have like a whole kind of framework around this, like how to think about it. And one
Mm.
idea that I think is really important is one of juxtaposition. I think a lot of guys are a little bit one dimensional, where let's take like the tough, like the archetypal like tough guy, right?
Mm.
Who's like into martial arts, they're into fitness, and that's all they're into. Like they're just really into like taking care of their body, and they're like really serious. Juxtaposition would be, yes, that's nice, but it's also kind of one dimensional. Like, what if this person was like really serious about their fitness, but they also something to round that out, something kind of like on the polar opposite of it, which could be
Writing poetry.
exactly, exactly. I think
I
that
lift
that could work.
weights.
That could work really
Muscle
well.
heart.
So
Yeah, I
that's
like that.
something I think a lot of guys like miss. Their profile is usually like really one dimensional. Like if they're like in finance or something, their whole profile will be based around like finance
And
or like them
cocaine.
being like techie, yeah,
Yeah,
or
I
like
was just joking
yeah.
about that. Yeah, I do think that one dimension thing. Some of the guy friends that I have asked me, to rate their profiles or whatever. That's one of the things that it always jumps out, their bio, because for guys, I don't think we read a lot of bios. I think most guys are just swiping right and then seeing, because it's a numbers game for guys. So they're more like, okay, whoever swipes right, that's when I read it. Because most likely, if you're reading and wasting time, they're just not getting the swipes. For women, it's a little different. They can kind of, because they're getting, it's the opposite. So because they're getting so many likes, they kind of spend some time reading the bio, and as long as if your photo game passes, it comes to the bio. And sometimes, yeah, you're right. It seems almost like a one-dimensional thing where I don't know. I think if you keep it simple, if you and it's so easy to say because it's so tough when we were dating, or at least when I was dating, to find like a simple way of attracting, it's like grabbing their attention. But yeah, like I think sometimes you can do that with photos as well. You can have a picture of you in action, like gardening, or I think you had a gardening picture where I don't think you ever gardened for real, but it showed that you're physical. But then you can add another picture where you're genuinely, I don't know, like reading a book or something. I don't know. It shows kind of the two sense, like you take care of your body and you also take care of your mind. I know it sounds so cliche, but uh, the wider you cast this net, the more foots in the door you have, and then you can sort of kind of get to know each other and then form relationships. But before you do any of that, you have to actually get your foot in the door.
So let's say someone wanted to, like a single guy, he wanted to start dating.
Yes.
What do you propose he does?
Hmm.
Like, how does
Um,
he get started?
I think if you want to get started, I would first, pictures are probably the number one thing, because
Oh, so
that
you would think like online dating is the way to go. Like, what about like
oh
kind of like
we're
cold approaching, going to bars?
I see. That kind of does depend on your personality and what you're okay with, and a little bit of who you want to attract. Um, I think a lot of people nowadays, especially in the city, they're definitely more comfortable with online dating, and with this pandemic, they're probably even more okay with that. But if you are far better person by meeting them at first, like in a bar or public events, I think going to sort of shared interest things are one of the best ways to meeting people, because you you remove that barrier of am I approachable? Because if you go talk to them, if you show that you can actually talk to someone, you're already skipping like 5 steps. And then you can say, okay, we can hang out sometime, and you move on from that. So it's almost like your dating profiles in real life. You are kind of showing that you can talk, you can show your own interests without sounding too braggy, and then kind of it's kind of like the pickup artist thing, but less douchey. But I would say I can give more advice on online dating, because I've done that more recently.
Hmm. Yeah, got it. So that's interesting. I'm currently kind of like circulating through my friends in my mind and like thinking which one of them met kind of like in person the way you just described outside
You,
of college, because I feel like
outside of
college is
college,
a
right?
special kind of moment where
Right.
everyone's kind of
Hmm.
like open to that. It's kind of like in-person Tinder in a way.
It's not even open. You are guaranteed these people around you are at the very least in the 4 year age range. So these are people your age. You can so easily find someone with similar interest. So those two things already are knocked out the park. And then after that, it's just talking. And it's not weird to approach someone and kind of start
Yeah,
talking
it's
either.
expected.
It's expected, yeah. I do agree. I'm running through our friends, and one friend kind of jumps up, and this person I think didn't benefit from online dating and benefited from forming a relationship in real life. I don't know if I should name the name,
Yes,
but
I think
yeah,
I know who you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
I
Let's call them Boland. Let's call them Boland. But I think there's some truth to it. I think there's some qualities that shine better in real life versus online. Wouldn't you agree with me?
um yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I would say if someone really wants to get serious about dating and they don't want it to just be kind of like a passive thing, they
Mm,
should definitely do online dating. Like
right.
there's in my mind there's really no question about it. If you actually want to meet someone like soon, you have to do online dating. Like yes, it's before there was online dating, like people met each other like in person. But I think in today's day and age, it's so much harder because there's
Yeah.
online dating. Like the person you're talking to, they're exposed to hundreds of options instantly through online dating, and you're like competing with that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think if you actually want to actively date, you almost have to do online dating. I know there are some like other approaches that have been suggested where, oh, like let's say you're a guy and you want to meet girls, you should probably do something that girls tend to like. So
Yeah. Right. Right.
as an example, maybe you go to, so I'm gonna be like totally stereotypical and please don't cancel me. It's like I'm just gonna say it like
Go ahead.
dancing. Let's say you go to a dance class and
Which, by the way, is a fantastic way of meeting. I can personally say, fantastic way of meeting women, and you can definitely you're showing your interest, and dancing is mostly a female oriented thing. Yes.
Yep. So this is a great way to meet girls. Yes. The problem is that I think because the reason they are there is probably to dance, you may have luck in finding someone to date, but I would say there's a large chance that you won't because
Mhm.
their intention is not to date explicitly. So compared to online dating, where the intention is that, well, for most people, I hope
Yeah,
the intention is
ninety-eight
that
percent.
you are
Yes.
single and looking to date. So that's
Hmm.
already out of the way. Like conversations that you strike up, there is the intention from both sides that you actually do want to seek romance. And you're opened up to a lot more possibilities.
Hmm.
So you're able to kind of find someone more quickly. And you're able to find someone that you might not have met because they are a little farther geographically than you would from like a dance class, for example.
Oh, fair enough. Um, I think so. I'll say, using myself as an example, I'm definitely better in person than I am online. So for me, it was always about getting that foot in the door, putting my charms on via text, and then just getting to that online, that real in real life, that IRL meeting as soon as I could, because to me that's where I shone the best. So I, if there were more opportunities to meet people out in public, I would. Like you said, when in public, it's not always about I'm looking for someone to date. You have to. It is easier in terms of you can talk them up and you can talk about interests, and I feel like you can approach people a lot easier in real life in a very weird way than online, because in online you have to get matched first, have an opener, and even then people don't, you know, people don't kind of go for it. And sometimes in real life you can kind of single them out, and you can show your interest a little bit better. You can sort of show your qualities a little bit better, but you don't know that they're looking either. So you're kind of taking a guess there, and your rejection rate might be a little higher. I don't know. I'm not sure about the statistic there. It's definitely more fearful doing it in real life than it is in online.
I see. And in real life, do you mean kind of like meeting them at an event or like cold approaching?
Both, definitely both. I think even in events, you're cold approaching. Yes, you have this, you have an opener already. Oh, you have, do you like Bernie Sanders as well? Oh, me too. Um, and yes, you have that, but also you probably have more competition that way too. I think a lot. Maybe there's another guy out there also asking the same thing, and now you may have to say, well, I also like AOC. Do you? Okay, cool. And if you're completely cold approaching, yes, that can be a shot in the dark because you don't know anything about this person, and it could be a flat out rejection from the get go. So yeah, I'm speaking kind of on both because you are still making you kind. It's a huge leap of faith versus online dating where, yeah, 98% of the time this person is looking for a relationship and they're single.
I see a sudden trend after this episode comes out of guys using, do you also like Bernie Sanders as a pickup
Oh,
line?
yeah, sure.
That's a pretty
I
good
mean,
one.
that's a good one. I mean, I mean, at least for me, that would be fantastic. Because I'm like, no, I like Joe Biden. I'm like, all right, bye. But just joking. I don't want to turn this into political. I support neither Democrat or Republican.
Oh,
But how about this? What would you say? Just how many are there essentials in terms of what you should be putting in your pictures if regarding online dating? Do you have some definitelys?
So I think pictures are a sort of tactic. So I think there's like two things here. There's tactics, which is kind of like pictures or like a cleaning up your bio, for example, and then there's strategy, which is more like long term. And I
Mm,
think what's really important for guys to do is to make sure you're overall kind of a good person. Some guys will take this too far though, where I've
mm,
met a lot of guys who they're kind of like on this self improvement journey and they are on this like treadmill of like going to the gym, improving their body, they're studying, trying to improve themselves like mentally and financially, for example. And they're doing it because they have this vision of a potential partner and they're trying to upgrade themselves to that level so that the potential partner that they will end up with is kind of like at this elite like level, like a power couple kind of uh
mm.
idea. And I've always asked them, like in college or something, hey, like how come you're not like dating at all? And their answer is, I I just don't think I'm like good enough. I want to like reach my final form. I want to reach like Super Saiyan 4 and then I'll like start dating. Like only
Jeez.
then, like once I get to perfect cell, like that's when I'll start I'll start meeting the girls. And I think that's taking it too far. But I do think before you start dating, you need to have some kind of like prerequisites. And that's just being sort of like self-aware and being emotionally stable. Like
Oh, yeah.
you're able to kind of confront when things don't go your way and you're able to kind of take that in a stable way. So essentially the opposite of what I've seen on the subreddit Nice Guys, where when things don't go your way, you react very strongly, and you take it very personally. That's a big you I don't think if you're like that, you are ready to date at all.
I would argue everyone sort of starts that way. I think everyone has some sort of a starting line there because I don't know. I'm not sure
Interesting. Yeah.
why, but I do. I think it's all about being of at least solid mind, where you're like, okay, what can I do to improve myself, instead of just saying, yeah, f these women or whatever.
Mm.
As you said, I think because you know for some people the dating scene is their trial by fire. That's how they mature,
Yep.
which you might like me agree that that may not be where you want to learn things because you're involving someone else. But sometimes you don't know that you're not mature or not ready until you try it too. At least how could we have known? I know I wasn't ready when I first started, but at least I had, I think, a good support system and a good head on my shoulders that I was like, okay, let me at least try to improve myself before I just go on this emo trip of just thinking the humanity is trash, which I did
Yeah.
still.
Um yeah, I just say that because I feel like dating is naturally full of rejection.
Oh yeah.
Things
Oh
could,
yeah.
and there's lots of swings like up and down. Like
Oh yeah.
you could be like 3 dates in, like, oh, you're gonna marry this person. The dates are going so well, like you just like held her hand or something, and then the next day she could be like, she could ghost you.
Oh yeah. That's. I think that has happened. Well, I don't know about you, but that has definitely happened to me and many other people I know.
She could just straight up ghost you. So
Oh yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're not in a place to like be able to handle that, um, I don't know if you should start dating yet. Maybe you
Mm.
should. I don't know, but as long as
I'll disagree.
yeah, as long as you feel
Oh,
that
sorry. Go ahead.
you can kind of accept that this will happen, then I think you'll probably be okay. But I
Mm.
do think there's kind of a prerequisite that you can accept that not everyone's going to like you, and that's
Right.
okay. And things could go roller coaster fashion, like up and down, big swings. And sometimes you're not going to know exactly what they're thinking, and that needs to be okay to you.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. I think in a perfect world, that's what we want. But sometimes you just don't know that you're not ready. And it's even, I
Yes,
think,
that's
even
true.
if you're fully ready, you're fully mature person, if your first rejection will still hurt like nothing else. It sucks. I remember
Yep.
mine, and it's the worst thing because up until dating online, I've only met people real life, and honestly, I have a saying: if you spend a train ride with me, you'll know I'm a pretty high quality guy, man. So having been rejected online. By the way, that was a joke. John didn't laugh, so now it comes off like I'm bragging. But
I thought you were
on
bragging. I thought you were going to invite them on your D train.
whoa, it took me a while, but uh, I got it. But
Come through my tunnel.
go through all you. Anyway, but when you're online dating, you're gonna get rejected. Like there's no way, and I remember vividly the first time I started and the first person I matched with, because I matched with them and I was like, "Whoa, this is crazy. It's working." And I was like I messaged them and there was no message back. Like there's nothing. They just read. And I don't remember what was my icebreaker, but I had something. And then like a 24 hours later, and this is such a big no. I messaged them again because I thought like, oh, maybe they didn't read it or
Yeah,
something.
maybe they didn't see it.
Maybe
Maybe
they
the
didn't see
internet
it.
was down for that 1 second.
It was so stupid of me, but I did. And then I just didn't know that things like something like that would even happen. Like you match with someone, because at that point I was just really reading the bio. I'm like, okay, I think I would be okay. Like I think this person is pretty cool. I think they would find me pretty cool, and I'm putting so much thought into it, and then I'm putting thought into like the opener. I try to equate it to something in the bio, all that stuff, and then I see them reading it, and I'm like, all right. And you give them so many benefits of the doubt. You're like, oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Okay, maybe they're working. Maybe I'll message them at a different time of the day, and maybe they just forgot to open the app. Blah blah blah. And you give all those excuses, and then slowly you realize, yeah, first of all, you can't take it personally, but you still do, and you're like, oh man, I'll never meet someone.
Yeah. And that's when you do the Instagram post.
Then
Hashtag
you
heartbreak.
Oh, the heart rate, yes. Getting left on red twice. But
Hashtag forever alone.
has to. But yeah, it's tough to know that you're ready for online dating
Yeah,
or
that's
dating
true.
in general. So sometimes you do have to kind of take a leap of faith. But I have to still echo what John said. Try to be ready. Try to know that look, you are gonna get said no to, and 99% of 99% of the time it's really not something you did. There are things that you can do to get better and show your qualities better. And none of that involve lying. I think honesty is still the best policy when it comes to dating profile. I think you can keep some things back if 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 you think it will be detrimental to you know uh getting matches, but honestly is still like I never veered from, because I've had a lot of advice and I know guys who follow the advice of saying whatever and doing whatever, even if it's a complete if it's complete fiction, just to get that match and then worrying about it later. I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna be who I am. I'm gonna curate it so it attracts matches, but I'm not gonna lie, because that just someone's gonna find out, and it's going to just make things worse. And even if it means less matches, at least you're starting off in a better foot.
Yeah, exactly. I also believe in being genuine. Um, and I think talking to you, I've realized that there's something kind of more important, or like just expanding on that point of like being emotionally stable and being able to take rejection. it's how you
Yes.
respond to it. So
Right.
if the
Right.
response to the rejection or like things not going your way is like, oh, like F, like fuck this bitch,
Mm.
like girls are all evil, that's probably not the way to go. But if the response is, okay, like things happen, let's move on, and let's see if there is anything about me that I can do to kind of express a, a better version of myself. So
Mm-hmm.
just being
Mm-hmm.
able to take like an honest look at yourself and really say like, oh, um, is there anything about me that could be better? Like, is my hygiene okay? Like,
Mm-hmm.
could I be in
Mm-hmm.
better shape? Could I be healthier? Um,
There you go.
yeah, could I be kind of communicating or expressing myself better so that more parts of my personality are being displayed? Then yeah, I think you're on the right track there, where you kind of like take responsibility for like what happens and you're able to move on. S-
I, my God, I totally agree with that. The hygiene, getting yourself in a better place, because that those things will naturally show as well. I've had people kind of, I've heard advices where they say, show that you're fun, show that you do a lot of these things. And sometimes the advice is sort of taken as, I'm going to do this one fun thing, or I'm going to show that I'm working out, but you're not actually working out. Or
Mm,
I'm going to show that I'm eating healthy, but I actually don't eat healthy. Adopting those healthy habits, adopting those good qualities is better than showing those off, because especially if you're looking for a long-term relationship, one, that's the way to go. Two, and this is probably the more important bullet point, it's better for you. And three, when you do those things naturally, what John just said, when you take care of yourself, um, for real, those things will come out in your dating profile
yeah, they
naturally. If
culminate.
you They'll culminate, exactly. If you're going to the gym regularly, you're gonna have a pic where you look freaking dashing. Our friend Herman said something that will stick to my mind forever. Clothing looks good on you if you're in good shape. It doesn't matter what you wear. And he's right. Like a baggy shirt will look good on you if you're ripped. The tight shirt will look good on you if you're ripped. It doesn't matter.
That's very
Uh,
true.
s- and so you're gonna get, if you're taking care of yourself, if you're, going out, if you're just taking care of your face, you're just, brushing your hair, just very simple things that you're doing, taking care of your hygiene, showering. I know it sounds weird that I have to mention that, but some of y'all need to hear this. So it, those things do matter, and it will just really naturally show. You're gonna be happy. Honestly, the best thing you can do for your dating profile is be happy, have a happier life, do those, be that person that you want to show in your profile.
So the OkCupid study from a few years back, it basically
Yes.
said that 80% of guys on the dating apps, girls did not find attractive. So do you think there is hope for those 80% of guys?
I think I kind of looked into this. I couldn't find this study.
They deleted it.
Okay, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. It seems weird. The foundation seems weird. Like you said, it's just statistically false. You can't have 80% people under average. There is some like anecdotal truths to it, where guys do rate, excuse me, women do rate guys lower than they are. Like, we can anecdotally sort of back that up, but that's really nothing. And I don't, in my personal life, actually, anecdotally, I can't even back that up. I know a lot of guys also doing the opposite as well, where they have really high standards of who they want, and then when they start dating, and they realize, yeah, this isn't what I really want. So
Mm.
that study, just I thought about it when you mentioned it before, and I was thinking about it, and I was trying to look it up, and I'm like, I don't know about this. This kind of seems suspect. Um, who cares? Forget about what this study says. It doesn't matter. Honestly, I think in a long-term relationship, both guys and girls, and this was from one of my psych classes in college, where looks is not even top five in a long-term relationship. appeal, the physical attractiveness is a thing, but so many things bleed into that. The emotional attractiveness, being good to your partner, blah blah blah, all those other things. Being a good person is probably more. Humor, I think, was top for both, or at least top three for both.
Yeah.
Which really just, in my opinion, means having a good personality, having a good sense of humor, being just a fun person to be around, which makes sense. I mean, if we look at our just friend group, who do we choose to be our friends? Usually, it's not always the most attractive people, even though, bro, our friends are pretty attractive. I think we lucked out, but I'm 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 with them because they're fun people.
Are you
They're
willing to
good
say who
people.
you don't find attractive in our friend group? I'm just
Of
kidding.
course, you, bro. You're the more the.
Dude, oh,
Of
I
course, man.
already said this earlier, but I'm your co-host for now.
For now. Oh man. But yeah, it's I'll take you as an example. You, of course, you're a handsome guy, but I
No,
at the
damage
at
is done.
first, I remember when I first met you, I was like, hey, this is a good looking guy, but that's not what sustained our relationship. It was, you were actually fun to be around. And I was like, yeah, I want to be with this person. Like, I want to be friends with this person because of that. So it's kind of similar when it comes to dating as well. Yes, they look great and you get matches because of that. But at the end of the day, you're talking how you treat that person, how you take care of that person is going to win.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think the study, because it used the dating profiles,
Mm-hmm.
I would
Mm-hmm.
say girls finding 80% of the dating profiles not being attractive actually makes sense to me, because
Mm.
guys spend disproportionately too little time on their dating profiles in terms of like
Mm.
how thought out they are.
Mm. I will say one thing though. I don't think it should be your life. I know some people who
Oh yeah.
kind of obsess over it, which isn't that good. I think girls even, I don't know if it's subconscious or not, they like someone who isn't on the app all the time. They say don't reply back so soon. You have to give it some time, and to have that naturally is to just not obsess over the Tinder app or whatever app that you're using. So yes, true. Okay, anyway, go on.
Oh yeah. I think, yeah, there's actually a lot of these kind of like micro social dynamics, I guess, that come to
Mm.
play here. Like, oh yeah, you replied immediately to my message.
Yeah, I know.
And that could be a turnoff for sure. And I'm trying to think if there was like one way to like wrap that all up. Like, because it's hard to teach
By the way,
someone
that's such a
all of these
turn on for
individual
me
things, right?
when I know, yeah, when someone messages me right away. Oh, that's such a turn on for me. Like, yes, thank you.
Okay. I thought I was being punctual, but okay, noted. But anyway, so if we were to kind of go into a dating profile, like the anatomy of a
Yes.
dating profile for a guy, in terms of pictures, like what do you think they need? Because for me, like I've seen them all over the place. Like I've seen
Mm-hmm.
someone use a dating profile picture where they're like just like a webcam picture where like they're in a dark room and it's like the bad quality kind of like webcam. They look like a total creeper. It's like the Omegle kind of
Yeah, yeah,
video that you'll see like on YouTube or something. Like no, don't. Like
yeah. Unless you're a celebrity from LA, yeah, don't. Unless you're recognizable, don't.
and even then, I don't know if you should. Even that James Franco knows this very well. Even then,
Yeah, I agree. Oh my god, I think there's a lot of have a pet in the picture. That's fine if you want to do that. I know people. We both know people who, use other people's pet as, oh, here I have a dog and blah blah blah. I'm gonna stick with don't lie policy. Definitely post things that you're interested in. I think it just serves you. It's gonna serve you better. Um, Definitely have a picture where it shows you, if possible, if you're in good shape.
Yes, in your dating profile, have a photo of yourself. That would be a
Yeah,
good start.
I know it's such a weird thing to say, but it's true.
Don't have a picture of Christian Bale in your dating profile.
That's yeah, definitely don't have that. Have somewhere where it shows your face fully, like you're not wearing a Batman mask or something. I would personally suggest you smile. I think that's very inviting and that looks very attractive. Doesn't matter who you are. I've never seen someone whose unsmiling picture is the better version of their picture. I've never seen a single person. I hate myself when I smile, but even I have to admit, yeah, I look better when I smile. It just looks, and all the women that I've asked, when I asked them for advice, 100% unequivocally said, yeah, I want to see them smile. I mean, why wouldn't I? So definitely have that in there. I would try to. I remember reading articles, and even for this episode, when I researched, almost all articles say do not use group pictures because, if you use one group picture, yeah, they can find out who you are, but why use them at all? But I've also read some article that said have at least one because it shows that you have friends. So I know there's all these articles have contradicting information. My personal take is if you have a group picture where you're clearly the visible, and it's kind of okay, and you have your group's permission, then sure. But I would just stay away from it because they're not trying to date you because you have friends. I don't think that.
I've also heard one where you should have a photo with you and other girls so that you can show you have options or that
Oh my
girls
god,
like
what is?
you. You have friends who are girls. What do you
All
think
right,
about
well,
that one?
I don't agree with that. I think you should not have that. It just it could, because it can be taken so many ways.
It's very try hard, I think.
It's very try hard. Yeah, you know what? That's the exact word that
You're
I was
not fooling
trying
anyone.
to think of. Yeah, you're not fooling anyone, and you don't know how the other person will take it. They may take it well. Okay, well, they have a lot of girlfriends. That makes me feel comfortable, but for the most part, I don't think that's how it will be perceived, and it's not. I don't think it's doing you any good in terms of what. Maybe it will attract a certain type of girl, but I don't think it makes you look good. That's my opinion. So I wouldn't really do that. Have definitely action shots of you doing something. If you like, if you have a hobby, if you're playing basketball or something, but have one picture. Don't have like 5 pictures of you like dunking
Right.
on someone. Yes, like if you have one picture of skiing, that's enough to say that you ski. You don't have to have 5 different
Yeah, like we get it.
skiing
We
photos.
get it.
Yeah,
You ski.
exactly. Yeah, and you don't have to have like
Swipe
gazillion
left.
pictures either. Swipe left. Yeah, you want to have just 5 to 6 pictures where they're all unique, and kind of have some sort of a purpose to each picture. Another good thing that I'm inspired by you actually is, I know when I saw your profile, I mentioned it before. You have a gardening pic where you're, I think, swinging a hoe or something. The hoe as a gardening tool, and you're wearing like what do you call those?
Wearing tank top in that photo.
Tank top. Yeah, there you go. I love that picture because I I think most
Yeah, I can
girls
see
are.
you still remember it.
I still
see
remember.
it's
I really
engraved in
do.
your memory.
Yeah, because I thought it was such a pretty brilliant way of showing, like, look, it shows you in a full body picture, so you're not catfishing anyone, and it's also not just a braggy open shirt, because I think that's, again, when I was looking at articles for research, I think 80% of things I was reading is like, yeah, don't put a shirtless pic, but 20% were saying, yeah, put a shirtless pic
Hmm.
because well, girls like seeing it. If you want my opinion, I'm like, go in the middle, do exactly what John did. I think that's brilliant. It shows like he was tensed up, so you could see his body in action. You could see that he's a good looking guy, and you see that he's an active guy. But you don't need. Sometimes it's good to hide some things because you want to let your mind wander. So I think that that's a great example of what I like seeing, because of course I want to see, as just a male seeking females. Yeah, I would like to have a body image where I could see, okay, oh, this is the person I'm meeting. Cool. So yeah, I think definitely have something like that. I think that's a good picture. Animal pictures. I think everyone says that. I don't have a pet, so I never had an animal picture. Um, I had a picture with my suit. I look dashing, so I have a dashing picture.
Great. Yeah.
Have a good quality picture also. Don't like John said. Don't have a webcam pic.
Yes, please. Like everyone has an iPhone these days. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
iPhones take pretty good photos. Um, so that could work, but make sure the lighting is good and they could see your face like
Mm-hmm.
clearly. Um, Another option that I kind of do recommend is professional photos. I think
Yeah.
that really
Mm-hmm.
separates you from everyone else, and they make you look really good. So kind of
Yeah.
like what Abs has said so far, the kind of suit photo, I think I have like kind of categories to describe these types of photos because I think when you're doing your profile, the different types of pictures that you want them to kind of culminate into one package. It's like, oh, is this
Mm-hmm.
person like well rounded? And
Mm-hmm. Good
I would
point.
consider the categorize the suit photo as like a status photo. Like, is this guy
Mm-hmm.
like cool? Does he have like status? Um, so it's like dashing exactly.
Yeah, dashing. There you go. Yeah, good. Well-rounded. I love that. I love that line. That's very good. The one other, yeah, professional photos. Honestly, professional photos are good for you in business. It's if you can get and there's so many deals out there. Like photographers will sometimes give great deals. I missed one, and I'm gonna get some new ones. Hopefully this summer or this winter, because it goes so far. You can put them in dating profiles, of course, but you can put them in LinkedIn. You can put them in. I had professional pictures done, and I used them in my dating profile. I used them in my current job because it looks good. It's and the quality, if you've never had it done before, it's night and day.
Yes,
They know
seriously.
what they're doing. They do it for a job and pay that money. Whatever they're charging, it's trust me, it's worth it. You might think, oh, I can take a picture or blah blah blah.
No,
These
you
guys know
can't.
lighting.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't. You can't. It's something. So speaking of timing of it, I did ask Farhana, if she had any tips on dating for guys. One of the biggest things she said was make sure your pictures are recent. Which I guess I guess that's a thing because I never really used
Yes, within the last
anything.
20 years would be nice.
Yeah, right. My cutoff is always like, look, if you look the same, and don't use your judgment, like use someone else's judgment, please. Like, don't catfish anyone. But if somehow you look the same as you did 5 years ago, sure, I guess use it, but try to keep it within 2 years, I think. And you should be taking pictures. You should be improving yourself anyway. So, of course, you want to take pictures and update your profile, but I can understand people letting themselves go a little and keeping, especially when you want to show the best version of yourself, but try not to catfish someone so drastically.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Yeah,
You're not
it's not
fooling
gonna
anyone.
work.
I
Yeah,
experienced it myself.
yeah.
I got catfished. It doesn't work.
I have to. I don't know if we're gonna go into it, but I know yours was a lot more. I can say maybe I have been, but it's definitely not as drastic as yours. I'll say that.
Yeah. So I would say for your photos, just going off of what Ab said, I would do
Mm-hmm.
like a few categories.
Mm-hmm.
Like a status type of photo where you're like in a suit or you just look like really nice and you look
Mm-hmm.
cool. Another one might be like a funny one where it just shows like you
Mm-hmm.
don't take yourself like too seriously. Um, and
John, an
yeah,
example maybe? Like you have an example of a funny, witty picture?
just one where you look like sillier, where it kind of
Mm-hmm.
balances the cool photo. Where in the cool one you look like more serious, maybe like kind of more cool, and the funny one's just
Mm-hmm.
to balance that. So maybe one where you have like a funny face, maybe, or you're wearing like a
Mm-hmm.
funny
Mm-hmm.
costume.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Yeah.
Uh, and
I think
yeah.
I had one where I was it was a while ago, but I was under someone put me under sand and I looked pretty goofy, and that was pretty fun. Like you said, having a fun picture that shows you had a good sense of humor. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Another one that I might recommend or like categorize is like caring one, and this could be like a pet
Mm.
one. So maybe you stroking your pet,
Hell yes.
or just something to show that you're caring. So if you work at a charity, maybe that.
So John, what if you don't work at a charity, or
Uh
more
huh.
specifically, you don't have a pet? What can someone do to kind of showcase that side?
Um.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'm not even
I
sure.
I guess delete your dating profile. So so I think everyone has like examples of how they are caring.
Mm,
But if it comes to it, I don't think it's too bad to borrow a friend's pet because
mm,
it's like a way to show that you're caring. I'm just gonna give you enough faith. I'm gonna have faith that you are a caring person and that you are using this power for good. Um, but I would say that aspect just helps you become like more well-rounded. And
mm-hmm.
yes, those three. So basically, you just want your photos to kind of flesh out yourself and not just all be like a certain topic or category. So you don't want to have like all four are like cool types of photos or all four are funny. You want to have like every aspect of each, and just to show that you are kind of like a complete package in a way, and you have like more than one dimension to you.
I like that.
Yeah, and another thing I think a lot of guys kind of get wrong is they think that you need to be, and I think it's because these types of posts are really viral, where a supermodel type of guy shows off kind of like how many matches they got on Tinder or something. And I think a lot of guys in like the 80%, I guess, get the wrong impression that you need to be of that kind of level. You need to just be like born with these kinds of godlike genetics, the genetics of Zeus or something, to
Mm-hmm.
do well on Tinder. And that's not true. Like you don't need the body of a Greek god. You don't need to be rich. You I am going to say that most girls out there really are just looking for someone pretty normal and someone who takes care of themselves and they can have like fun with and they can see themselves kind of like watching a movie with on a chill weekend. I'm going to say that the majority of girls, that's really what they're looking for when they say they are looking for a relationship. I think my wife right now, she said she was like on dating apps for like 2 years before she met me.
Mm-hmm.
And she's telling me like most guys, like they don't even meet that bar. And yeah, they don't seem to meet that bar. And I'm going to say, if you're listening to this podcast, I have faith that you can meet that bar. Like you
Oh
do not need
boy.
to be like this amazing genetic freak. Like if you're a relatively normal person, like you can do well at dating.
Yeah, yeah. I think being normal and not a creep goes a long way. I think having confidence goes so far. I think people really underestimate it. And being I think applying those changes that you want to see in a dating app to yourself. If you want to show, hey, I want to show that I work out, actually go work out. I want to show that I I'm caring and I work for a charity. Go for a charity, man. Go do those things because number one thing is they're gonna improve you as a person, and that's going to speak volumes. Forget meeting someone; that's just going to make you a better person.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say the best way to date is to not all kind of like improve yourself. Go on a self improvement thing and do this as a side thing, and you'll just see that, oh, man, your confidence is gonna rise, and that's going to be translated. And soon you're gonna have people approaching you. People are gonna
True.
talk to you. People like that. People want to be around someone who's confident and who's a fun guy.
Yeah, fun guy Bezos. Take notes.
Fun guy Bezos.
Hell yes.
And Bill and not Bill. I was gonna say Bill Clinton. Bill Gates.
Bill Clinton might need this too. Yeah, Bill Gates, dude.
Yeah. Bill Gates, my boy. A lot of shady stuff behind him, but you know.
Gates, my boy. What are you doing?
Do we have time for Apple versus Epic, or are we pushing it to the next episode? It's gonna be a recurring theme where I just tease this out.
Oh man,
and never talk about it.
dude, I think that has to be the next one.
It has to be. It has to be. I'm teasing. Once again, I'm teasing.
That's gonna be a banger.
Yeah, and then watch it be the worst one. But it's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
No, I could rag on big tech all day. They just make it too easy.
But they're the ones sitting in ivory towers. It doesn't matter. We make memes and to keep our depression away. But in the end of the day, they're living in these ultra mansions and they don't give a f.
Yeah, you're right.
Bezos gave up half his worth and he went from number one richest guy to number one richest guy. So
Hell yes.
it's we can make fun of them, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah.
No, one day, we'll get fan mail from Bezos being like, "Oh, you guys, Abs and John, Alien Jester, thank you."
I do have to ask you, and I'll let you wrap it up whenever you want. But I do want to ask one last question. Okay, so a listener is really intently listening to this. They got their pictures, they got those categories filled, and they're bangers. What do you think a bio should be all about? Now they don't know what to put in there. Should it keep it simple? Should he go on a paragraph of what his life is? What do you think, John?
So I'm gonna say, what you write in your bio is going to directly influence the type of people you will attract. So, and this this applies to your photos too. So you were mentioning that a lot of articles, they kind of split on the decision whether you should do a shirtless photo or not. I would say if you're looking for a one night stand and that's all you want, go for a shirtless photo. Because the people that you will attract are people who are probably more willing to do or want to do one night stands. You're screening for that in a way. So with the bio, I think the same kind of concepts apply. Personally, because I was looking for a long term relationship, I spent more time on bio. So my bio was like 4 paragraphs long. And I know that
Jesus.
yeah, at least 4 paragraphs long. Yeah, it was like high school essay level. So, but I think that worked out for me because I was showing, okay, there's something I'm serious about, and I was able to express enough of my personality in my bio, so that people who read it, by the time they read the end, I knew like, oh, and they actually like started a conversation with me. I knew, okay, this is the type of person who would look at my bio, like spend that time to read my bio, and they're still like seriously talking to me. So in your bio, try to express yourself more than just like you like The Office. Because I think
oh my god,
I've seen that so much, and you're more than that. Like there is more to you than The Office. I know it. I have faith in this statement. Try to expand on yourself a bit more. Maybe say one of your philosophies in life, for example. Try to express like who are you? Like what kind of person are you? If someone wrote a book about you, like what would that book be?
Wow. Okay. So I'll say something. Okay. The office thing you said just completely triggered me. I hate anyone who's using
Oh,
this
hate.
the line. Yes, I did. Okay, I'll say I very much dislikes
No,
anyone,
you can
and I've
hate
seen
them.
it. I've seen it in so many profiles. Looking my gym to my Pam. I will say some. I've been watch when the U.S. Office aired. I watched the first episode when it aired, and I've been watching it since the season finale. I've rewatched. It's my favorite comedy show of all time, and I will tell you, the Jim and Pam, the Jim character is very toxic. Next time you watch it, try to
Oh
really think
shit.
about it. All right, you don't want to find the Jim. Okay, Jim isn't a good. He's not perfect. Okay, Pam, even you don't want to be Pam. But Pam settles. Don't do it. All right, I'm not looking for a Pam. Okay, and I'm not a Jim.
Oh shit,
I
man.
hate to be say I'm a Jim. I'm the freaking Michael Scott and Holly. That's a great couple. They kind of get into the nuances of it. I've had girls who say they love The Office, and I would line, and this has happened at least twice to me, where I would give a line of The Office, and they say, "What? What? LOL?" And I'm like, "All right, man, come on, what is this crap?"
Block.
But to your actual point, man, um, I think you should really keep bio simple. I think you should include a paragraph. I have
No,
four
I
paragraphs.
disagree.
I think for John, so from our listeners, this is not a video recording. Once we update to that, you'll realize for the most likely the women that swiped right on John, they loved how he looked. He's a handsome guy. He's tall, dark, tall, light, and handsome. He's the classical good looking dude. I think they looked at the four paragraphs and they're
Yeah,
like,
I got that
I'm
light
pretty
skin.
sure
Call me Steph
I'm,
Curry.
I'm pretty
Call me
sure
Devin
he's
Booker.
fine. They're swiping right already. Okay, for someone like me, uh, less classically handsome, um, uh, they probably are reading it. They're like, let me see if the bio passes. At least that's my kind of a little bit of a cynical view. I From my experience, the longer I had my bio, the less matches I got, and the more I shortened it to basically keep it clear and concise and try to sort of include buzzwords, I got more matches.
Oh,
They're like,
buzzwords.
yeah, buzzwords like basically things that one show your quality, but also have give openings. So once you guys are talking, they can bring something. I think one of my line was like, I know all the good desert not desert dessert spots in the city, and that was always, I think, 90% of the people I matched with mentioned that. They said, "Yep, take me to a good gelato place." I'm like, "I got you," and I would fire up Google and find a good gelato place
Oh,
or something like that. It's things like that worked for me personally. I Because I started with exactly what you say. Have paragraphs of kind of me. And because I kind of definitely, even in the beginning, was going into it thinking I don't want short term relationships. And I don't know if it was timing, I don't know if it was something else, but I know I wasn't getting as many matches. And when I whittled those down to one solid paragraph, or maybe one paragraph cut into two, I was getting a lot more attention. So I don't know if necessarily the bio had anything to do with it. I did update my pictures throughout, but yeah.
interesting. I think maybe next episode we can share our bios. I think that could
Oh,
be interesting.
if I remember mine, yes, absolutely, I'll do that. I thought I had a good one. But
Yeah, I think you have had a good one too. I would
Mhm.
consider both of us success stories. So
Well, yes, yeah. Well, we can't deny that.
uh, as of now, so
Uh-huh.
I think we should share our bios as an example of like
Okay.
this is what your bio can kind of live up to.
Okay. I'll try to see if I remember, or I'll ask my wife. I think she might actually have more memory about it than I would, and I would also ask her what she thought about it. And yeah, I'll bring that along the next episode.
Yeah,
You should do that too.
I know my wife has a screenshot of it.
Yeah. I don't know if she has a screenshot. Okay, if you have a screenshot, oh, that's awesome. But also ask her how she felt. I'm sure you know. I'm sure she has told you, but what she got out of it. Like what she liked, what she didn't like, blah blah blah.
I
I would
think,
love to hear that.
yeah. Okay, cliffhanger again. A piece of
Cliffhanger, I
script.
love it.
Very nice.
All
All right,
right.
man. Thank you for joining the call.
Yes. Signing off. Yes.
Hell yes.